Mirrored psychic inversion theory (MPIT) moves decisively beyond traditional trauma models. It no longer treats post-discard symptoms as dysregulations of mood or cognition, but as the structural consequences of psychic occupation. Under MPIT, the survivor is not merely wounded, they have become the unwilling host of an internal architecture built from the narcissist's own disowned self states. MPIT frames collapse as a recursive energetic loop, not a singular psychological event. The narcissist implants both libidinal, idealizing, and anti libidinal, hating, object relations into the survivor. These become recursive introjects, thought forms and behavioral scripts that loop independently of the narcissist's presence. This results not in fragmentation, but reconstruction. The survivor is structurally refitted to house the narcissist's internal object world. One of the most vital innovations in MPIT is the identification of collapse induced psychotic regression, a descent into pre verbal, pre symbolic affect states. This regression is not madness, it is a functional collapse into the survivor's earliest survival structures. The key symptoms are disassociation without narrative, procedural functioning without agency, speech loss, sensory override, and internal howling. This phase is marked by the loss of the central ego and often mistaken for mood instability, when in fact it is a symbolic language shutdown. MPIT visualizes post discard collapse as an orbital system without gravity. Ego parts, redeemer, protector, mute child, begin to spin around an absent core. This internal orbit marks the loss of narrative authorship. The absence at the center is what once held identity. What remains is inverse mirrored reflexive apathy, IMRA, a mimicked affective system which simulates contact but drains vitality. The survivor feels both inert and hypervigilant, stuck in a simulation of connection. MPIT framework introduces pendular energies, a pattern in which both the narcissist and the survivor give and retract from hyperactivated states. This becomes a seesaw of internal threat. The narcissist unconsciously perceives all intimacy as risk. The survivor suppresses their needs to remain acceptable. Both enter states of alternating approach avoidance. What appears as relational dysfunction is in fact a shared energetic system, an entrained loop of mutual fear, misrecognition, and projection. Perhaps the most radical update is the redefinition of collapse, not as emotional pain, but as structural malfunction. The collapse is forensic. It is the precise moment when the survivor's internal architecture yields to an alien operating system. This is not healing, this is extraction and reclamation. Emotional language fails to address the scale and type of this failure. MPIT shifts the therapeutic question from how do you feel to which part of your system was hijacked. Recovery in MPIT is not about emotional relief, it's about functional authorship. Structural decolonization, identifying foreign syntax, for example, I'm broken, replacing it with declarative reality, for example, this happened to me. Neurobiological realignment, using monotasking, routines, and cognitive sparsity, rebuilding the prefrontal cortex through external structure. Temporal reintegration, forensic journaling and time stamped memory logs, objective reconstruction of relationship timelines, and anti libidinal eradication, starving internalized contempt loops, removing performative apology and shame rituals. Each of these techniques treats the survivor not as a wounded child, but as a system under forensic reconstruction. Narcissistic abuse is not simply relational betrayal, It is an invasive operating system that seizes linguistic, emotional, and cognitive control. The survivor's task is not just healing, it is the extraction, dismantling, and reinstitution of psychic sovereignty. Your mind is not broken, it is occupied. Recovery is not healing, it's reclamation. The MPIT framework provides something unprecedented, a symbolic structural map of psychic colonization, and a non emotive, functional blueprint for recovery. Peace out. Loads of love.